Ciao ragazzi! Today I would like to take you on a tour of my painting Piazza della Santissima Annunziata, Firenze. So, let me start right away. First of all, I have a few photos to show you of Florence. Let me back up here. So this is the lovely city of Florence, also known as Firenze. And you can see the Arno River that flows through the city, the famous cathedral, the mountains on the other side. Let's take a look at the next one. This is a close-up of the beautiful Renaissance cathedral and also the famous Ponte Vecchio, the oldest bridge in Florence. And now let's talk about my painting. This is the north corner of Piazza della Santissima Annunziata, and it was an interesting story how I ended up here. I wanted to paint this piazza. It's such a beautiful place, famous for the architecture. You can see the building on the right and left are designed by Filippo Brunelleschi, and both buildings are adorned with a gray stone called pietra, serena, and you can see it's that light gray color against the white. So, since it's so famous and beautiful, I wanted to paint it. However, there was a rainstorm coming, hence these storm clouds that you see up here. Usually spring gets some damp weather, but after I was there photographing it, I was stuck under this loggia that you see here on the left. And I was under there for about an hour waiting for the rain to stop. And it was raining really hard. However, I got this painting out of it, so it was totally worth it. So let me tell you a few more things about this painting. These are rondelles, and they are called tondi in Italian. And they were designed by the famous artist Andrea della Robbia, who's famous for his ceramics. And you can see his work in person in many of the museums in Florence. I am a great admirer of his. It's totally awesome. Highly recommend it. Now, a loggia, which you see on both of these buildings, is open to the outside with arches. And it's a trait of Renaissance architecture. You can find it in other kinds too. But I like the graceful arches. They're fun to paint. And, you know, they give that open air feel. They're mainly on the ground floor, but they can also be a balcony higher up. And you know how much I love to paint interesting architectural details. Two things that are just out of view of the angle I chose to paint this. First of all, actually, let me tell you why I chose this angle. First of all, I got to see both buildings and they were equally beautiful, but I felt like this beautiful kind of like tangerine rust color building running behind them. You can see them, you know, through the loggia on either side, and it runs horizontal. I thought that set the beautiful pastels off just wonderfully. So I chose this angle. If you visit this piazza, though, there's two other things you should see when you're there. One is a equestrian statue of Ferdinando I, and then also there are Baroque fountains in this square by Pietro Tacca. And let's see, what have I missed? So this building on the right is the Basilica della Santissima Annunziata, which this piazza is named after that building. And there is a famous fresco of the Annunciation in there. And this building on the left with the light blue shutters and the little balcony and the you see overlooking this loggia, that is called the La Loggia dei Servi di Maria. And you just love Italian names. Very poetic. So thank you for joining me on this tour today. If you have any questions, let me know. And until next time, ciao, ciao.